Welcome to the deep dive. Look, if you've been thinking about, feeling a bit lighter, maybe eating smarter, just generally feeling better, you're in the right spot. We've done a lot of digging, and today we're focusing on something pretty powerful. 10 natural foods. These aren't just healthy, they can actually really help with managing your weight.
Exactly. We're not talking about complicated diets or anything like that. These are real, actual foods. Delicious ones, too. And when you understand why they work, well, they become pretty amazing tools in your kitchen. Think of it as knowing what to grab at the grocery store.
Yeah, and we're not just gonna list them off. We want to dive into the science, why do they work? And maybe more importantly, how do you actually enjoy eating them? Make it easy. So let's kick things off. First one up. Avocados. Often causes a bit of debate, this one.
Oh, definitely. Avocados. Yeah, people sometimes get hung up on the fat content, but that's really kind of an old way of thinking about it. Yes, they're rich in fat, but it's mostly monounsaturated fat. That's the heart-healthy kind. Very different from saturated fats or trans fats. And the interesting thing is, this type of fat, it actually signals fullness, makes you feel satisfied.
Okay, hang on. So it's not about avoiding fat entirely, it's choosing the right fats. How does that work? How does this good fat tell our brain we're full?
Well, it's a bit complex, involves hormones and appetite regulation, but basically these fats, combined with the really high fiber content in avocados, it just works. Some research even hints it might target belly fat, the stubborn kind, more effectively than other healthy fat. And that fiber obviously is huge for feeling full for longer. Studies actually link eating avocados regularly with lower body weight and BMI.
Wow, okay. That's pretty convincing. But, apart from guacamole, which is great, don't get me wrong, how do we easily get more avocado in? I always need ideas.
Oh, they're super versatile. That's the beauty. Slice them on salads, mash them on toast instead of butter or mayo. Put them in smoothies, makes them really creamy. You can even bake with them sometimes. Swap out less healthy fats.
Interesting. Okay, good tips. Let's move to number 2. Another one with a bit of a history. Eggs. They went from villain to hero, kind of, didn't they?
They really did. Yeah, the whole cholesterol thing really overshadowed how nutritious they are for a long time. But the science now, it pretty much agrees. For most people, eggs are fantastic, especially if you're watching your weight. They're just packed with high-quality protein and, again, those healthy fats.
So protein's the key player here for weight loss.
It's a huge factor, definitely. Protein is incredibly satiating. It just makes you feel full and keeps you full. There are studies showing that having eggs for breakfast can actually lead to you eating fewer calories later in the day compared to, say, a carb-heavy breakfast. The protein effect is that strong. Plus, the fats add to that sustained energy feeling.
Okay, but how? How does protein actually do that? Keep us feeling full?
It's pretty neat, actually. Protein helps suppress ghrelin, that's often called the hunger hormone. And at the same time, it boosts other hormones that tell your brain, okay, satisfied now. So it's like a double whammy against cravings.
That makes total sense. And eggs are just so easy, right? Boil them, scramble them, poach them. Quick protein.
Exactly. Super convenient, super adaptable. Okay, switching gears now. Let's talk about something crunchy. Apples.
The apple. Yeah. Always feels like a safe bet for a snack.
And it really is. They're low in calories, but you get a lot of fiber. We keep coming back to fiber, don't we? It's key for fullness. Plus, apples have a high water content, which also helps fill you up.
So it's more than just an apple a day keeps the doctor away. There's a weight angle, too.
Oh, absolutely. There was this one study, people who ate an apple before their meal ended up eating fewer calories during that meal. It's likely that fiber and water combo just slowing digestion, helping control appetite. And here's something cool. The act of chewing a crunchy apple sends signals to your brain that you're eating something substantial, more satisfying than, say, drinking the same calories.
The chewing thing. Never really thought about that specific mechanism. It makes sense, though. Okay, number 4. A green veggie. Sometimes a bit controversial.
Broccoli.
Yeah, broccoli. Not everyone's favorite, maybe. But for weight loss, it's a star. Especially for belly fat. It's got that great combo, super high in fiber, very low in calories.
And I've heard there's something specific in broccoli, some compound.
You're thinking of sulforaphane.
Yeah.
That compound seems to support your metabolism, maybe help your body burn fat a bit more efficiently. And the fiber, of course, great for digestion. Good digestion supports weight loss indirectly. There's also some interesting stuff about it potentially helping with hormone balance, which can be a factor for women. Right. Okay, so if you're not a huge broccoli fan, any tips to make it tasty?
Preparation is everything. Don't just boil it into mush. Try roasting it. Toss it with olive oil, maybe some garlic, salt, pepper. It gets kind of sweet and crispy at the edges. Or just lightly steam it so it stays bright green and crisp. Stir fries are great too.
Roasting does change everything, doesn't it? Good call. All right, next. A food that might seem wrong for weight loss. Salmon. Fat, right?
It's that misconception again. See, not all fat is created equal. Yes, you need to be mindful of overall fat intake, but the healthy fats in salmon, they can actually help. Salmon is loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. These are pretty amazing.
Okay, omega-3s. Tell me more. What's the magic there?
Well, for starters, they fight inflammation. Chronic inflammation can actually make it harder to lose weight. So less inflammation, better environment for weight management. Omega-3s also seem to help regulate hormones involved in fat burning and metabolism. And don't forget, salmon is also packed with protein. We know how good that is for fullness and, crucially, muscle.
Right, muscle. Why is holding on to muscle so important when you're losing weight?
Because muscle burns more calories at rest than fat does. Simple as that. So if you maintain your muscle while losing fat, you keep your metabolism humming along, maybe even boost it slightly, makes it easier to lose weight and keep it off. Pair that salmon with some veggies. Perfect weight loss meal.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, number 6. Something for the carb lovers out there. Sweet potatoes.
Yes, sweet potatoes. A really satisfying carb choice. Unlike a lot of refined carbs, they don't tend to spike your blood sugar like crazy. They're full of fiber, packed with nutrients.
How do they compare to, like, regular white potatoes?
Generally, sweet potatoes have a lower glycemic index, meaning they release their energy more slowly, more steadily, so you avoid that energy crash and the cravings that often follow. They also have a good amount of resistant starch. That's the type of fiber that isn't fully digested.
Resistant starch, what's the big deal with that?
It acts a bit like soluble fiber. Helps you feel full longer, helps keep blood sugar stable. Good for your gut bacteria, too. And honestly, they're just delicious and so versatile. Bake them, mash them, roast them into wedges. Great stuff.
Yeah, that versatility is key. Love sweet potato fries. Okay, moving on to something sweet and colorful. Berries.
Berries. Nature's candy.
Yeah.
Right. But so good for you, especially for weight management. Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, all of them.
What makes these little guys so special then?
Well, they're incredibly low in calories for the volume and sweetness you get. Plus, they're loaded with antioxidants and, you guessed it, fiber. Again, helps with fullness. They also seem to help with insulin sensitivity. When your body responds better to insulin, it's more likely to use sugar for energy instead of storing it as fat.
And they're just so easy to eat, aren't they?
Totally. Grab a handful for a snack, toss them in smoothies, on yogurt, oatmeal, even in salads for a bit of sweetness. Super easy to add in.
Okay, next category. Leafy greens. This is about getting volume, right?
Exactly. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, arugula, romaine, all that stuff. They are the ultimate low-calorie, high-volume food. You can eat a huge salad and take in very few calories. It physically fills up your stomach, signals fullness, without adding much to the calorie count.
So it's like tricking your stomach into feeling full.
Kind of, yeah. But it's also more than that. They're nutritional powerhouses, packed with fiber, vitamins, minerals, all things that support a healthy metabolism and good digestion. They really should be a foundation of how you eat.
Seems like a non-negotiable, really.
It's a great strategy. Try starting your meals with a big pile of greens. It can help fill you up a bit, so maybe you eat less of the more calorie-dense stuff afterwards.
Smart tip. Okay, number 9. Another one people worry about sometimes. Nuts. Calorie dense.
They are calorie dense, no doubt. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, cashews. But look at what else you're getting. Protein, fiber, healthy fats. It's a package deal.
So it's about the quality of the calories, not just the number.
Exactly right. That combination of protein, fiber, and good fats makes nuts incredibly satiating. Even a small amount can really take the edge off your hunger, help control cravings, stop you from overeating later. The key, obviously, is portion control. Stick to a small handful, maybe like 20-25 almonds, and go for the plain, unsalted, unsweetened kinds.
So they're like a secret weapon for bridging the gap between meals.
That's a great way to put it, like a little emergency hunger kit you can keep in your bag.
Yeah.
Very convenient.
Love it. Okay, last one, number 10. Creamy, protein-packed, Greek yogurt.
Ah, Greek yogurt. So popular, and for good reason, especially in the context of weight management. Compared to regular yogurt, it's generally thicker, creamier, and crucially much higher in protein.
And that protein is the main benefit for weight loss here.
It's a huge part of it, yes. More protein equals feeling fuller for longer. Helps manage that overall calorie intake. Plus, many Greek yogurts have probiotics, those good live bacteria. They support gut health, and we're learning more and more about how gut health is linked to weight.
Yeah, that gut health connection is fascinating, isn't it? So how should we choose Greek yogurt? What's the best way to eat it?
Best bet is usually plain, unsweetened. That way you control the sugar. Then you can add your own flavor, fresh berries like we talked about, a tiny drizzle of honey, maybe some nuts. It's great for breakfast, snacks, even as a base for healthier dips or instead of sour cream sometimes.
Fantastic. Okay, wow. So that's 10 really solid science-backed foods, things that can genuinely help you out if you're trying to eat healthier, manage your weight. And it's not about crazy fads, is it?
Not at all. Just to quickly run through them again: avocados, eggs, apples, broccoli, salmon, sweet potatoes, berries, leafy greens, nuts, and Greek yogurt. Each one brings something unique to the table, whether it's healthy fats, fiber, protein, or specific nutrients.
And I think the big takeaway, for me anyway, is that food isn't the enemy when you're thinking about weight. It's actually a tool, a really powerful one. If you choose wisely, focus on fueling your body with good stuff like these, the whole process just feels easier, more enjoyable.
Couldn't agree more. It's about those small, consistent choices, right? Adding some berries here, choosing salmon there, snacking on nuts instead of chips. It all adds up over time. Think about which of these feel easiest for you to bring into your routine. Pay attention to how you feel. It makes a difference.
That's a great thought to end on. What small change, maybe involving one of these 10 foods, could you make today? Something simple that just nudges you towards those health goals. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.